Okay.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Barbie Johnson.
And I am Tisha Winkler.
We're the
We're the
Book
book
Breakers.
breakers.
And today we have with us Mr. Donald Scoggins. Did I say that correctly?
Very well. You said it perfectly.
All right. And
Yes.
he's running for mayor. So it's voting time. This is
Woo!
early voting time. Get your votes cast. Don't miss the poll. So, Mr. Scoggins, what was the prompt that made you want to run for mayor?
Oh, good. I'm glad you asked that question because I get that. You know what I
Yeah.
get more than what
What is
question
that?
I do not ask? People ask, they know I can do it. They just want to know why I want to do it.
Mm,
So I get the why more
Yes.
than the what, I would say what prompted me to do this is several things. It's two, maybe it's many things, but one is that I'm terribly concerned for the youth,
uh-huh.
number one.
Okay.
Yes.
All
And
right.
of course the older people, but primarily the youth, because when I talk to many of them, they feel that they've been left behind, and they feel that
Mm,
nobody is looking after them. They say the politicians come, and they well, actually, they say they don't come into the neighborhoods and talk to them. And I love to,
Yeah.
and I'm sort of a busybody type, so I like to see, you know, we all know that we have a youth crime problem.
mm-hmm.
I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's no secret. So what I want to do is talk to them about why is there so much youth crime. I mean, in addition to hearing from the public officials and other people talking about it, I do not hear us or see us actually going to the youth and asking them, you know, what is the problem or how can we help them? And that's what they
Mm.
tell me. They say that the rec centers are closed.
Yeah,
The
absolutely.
Yes.
schools, they even say, I was surprised when many of them told me that they were disappointed. They even took cursive out of the schools. They don't even teach
Mm,
writing, and they took the trades out. So, and I feel that if we don't change the trajectory now, then we're going into three generations of uneducated or basically insufficiently educated
Yeah.
young people, and I'm very
mm.
concerned about that.
Right,
So
Yeah.
that
right.
so that is a concern. But what that prompted me, but what I put like this, that prompted me more than what I'm getting ready to tell you now. My background is in housing. I'm a affordable housing specialist. I put together several nonprofit housing organizations, and
Okay.
I've been in real estate for 25 plus years, and I've helped many first time home buyers. That's my when I was active in real estate. That was my niche, was
Mm,
helping first time home buyers
okay.
buy
Okay.
homes and I even did that before they came up with these down payment assistance programs. I was able to be kind of innovative in coming up with ways to help them buy. And many times back in the day, especially, many of our people, they had trouble, maybe impaired credit. So I helped them repair their credit so that they can be able to get a mortgage. And a couple of my tenants they were paid so well that I said, why don't you all try to buy a house? They said, oh, Mrs. Scoggins, I can't buy a house. I said, what do you mean you can't buy a house? I said, well, I'm going to show you how to buy a house. And they didn't think I could do it, but I stuck with them. It took several doings, in terms of contacting creditors and working things out. So that prompted me to try to do something. And then when I would come to Baltimore, now I've recently, when I say recently, within the last year or so, I established residency in Baltimore, but I've been in the area for 52 years
Mm,
between
Oh,
DC,
okay.
Maryland, Virginia. Since 1972, I've been in the area. And whenever I would come to Baltimore, it was sort of like zipping in and zipping out. And then when they had the Freddie Gray incident, I
mm-hmm.
came up
Yeah.
and I visited, I was around the St. St. Martin de Porres Catholic Church, where they were going to have a rally or something up there. So I got there about 2 hours early than the event was going to take place. And I got a chance to walk around, drive around, and I talked to some young people. And being that my background is in housing and urban planning, I said, man, I said to myself, boy, this is a great, other people talk about it being, I said, this is a great neighborhood, because I looked at the architecture of some of the
Yes.
brick homes, and I said, this could really be made nice, So I hear everyone talking about how bad Baltimore was. And while it has challenges, it has tremendous potential. And it just seemed like as though
Yeah.
connection in terms of someone trying to see what they can do to take advantage of all that. And since I'm a glutton for punishment, I say, well, let me see what I can. I'm always, I'm always
glutton for punishment.
I'm always getting involved with things that people say can't be done. So I said, well, let me see if it can be done.
Yes.
I enjoy the people. A lot of the people, let me say this. Most of the people I come in contact with in Baltimore, they are very unpretentious. This down to earth, just nice people, very nice people, but they just, unfortunately, many of them are just not informed about a lot of things. And
Right.
seems like and when I talk to several of them, it seems like the politicians are more interested in staying in office than they are in doing the work. So I said, well, let me be a rare person.
Yeah.
So that got me involved in it, and I've always been a very people person anyway. So
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell.
And I have a very very diverse professional background. I've been working ever since I was about 15 years old. So you can see I've been out there for quite a while.
Well, yeah.
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 Um. Okay. My
And Mr.
next.
Donald Scoggins.
Mhm.
Mr. Can
Go
I ask a
ahead.
question?
I'll
Okay, I'm
ask it
sorry.
after.
We can't see each other. Okay. Because we used to be together. We're not together today. I'm sorry. Mr. Donald Scoggins, what are some plans you will be executing and completing when you are in office when you're being established as mayor? I'm just speaking it.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'm going to do, and people ask me, what is the first thing you're going to do or you want to do? I think that since education, of course, crime is a problem, but crime is a
Yeah.
manifestation of poverty and lack of sufficient education. I think if we can tackle the education and lower the poverty rate, that would help quite a bit. But in terms of the education, I would get with the Secretary of Education for the state of Maryland in
Right.
Annapolis, because a lot of the things that people, and this is something that the current mayor and even some of the other candidates, they never mention, because they keep saying, well, we're going to improve education, we're going to improve education.
Yeah.
But
Right.
if you do not have the authority to do some of the things you want to do, then it's all going to
Yeah.
be just talking points. And I've been whenever I go to places, and with having been involved a while, the first thing I do is go talk to or find out who are the players. Who are the people who has the authority to do what. So the authority to change the curriculum in Baltimore, or not just
Mm.
Baltimore, but in the state of Maryland, is the state Secretary of Education, and I would like to talk to her. She's been recently appointed permanent. She was acting, but now she's permanent. And I would
Right.
really, that's what I'm going to do, because
Yes.
we need to change the curriculum. The curriculum, everything else is changing in the world, but the academics or what they're teaching our young people, the approach has not changed. And we need to be very trade-based, very job prepare based.
Right.
When I talk
Yes.
to the young people, 18, 17, 18, 19, many of them some of them have dropped out of school. And I say, why'd you drop out of school? Oh, it's boring. I don't like, it's always something like that. I said, well, would you have liked to have gone into HVAC, being involved in,
Yes.
heating, air conditioning and all? these young people want to be able to do something kind of like right away where they can start making some money. And
Mm-hmm.
we need to
Yes.
do like what they do in some of the foreign countries, whereby they're very big on they're very big on the trades. That's the reason why a lot of immigrants, especially Latinos, when they come over here, many of them can do the work that we're talking about
Yes.
trying to get. They've kind of already done that. So we need to start doing that. And I've also heard people say, well, we can have these young people fix up the houses and stuff. But if they haven't been trained in woodworking, carpentry, electricity, plumbing, they can't, they're not going to be able to fix up anything. So let's get them occupied, get them busy so they won't have any idle time to get into trouble. So that's one thing. That's the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to make them, and I'm not even going to wait till I become mayor. If in November, if I'm elected mayor in November, I'm going to make contact in November. I'm not going to wait till January to get to get in office. Now another thing that's very very big, and that is I want to increase the home ownership rate in Baltimore.
All right now.
I think more of the people
Oh,
in
yes.
Baltimore should be, I mean, they should be homeowners. I mean, and that's the
Yes.
thing that helps build generational wealth. You may not get to be a multimillionaire, but if you can buy, I mean, I would think that a lot of the people in Baltimore now, if they had bought their property maybe even 10 or 15 years ago, they will probably have at least maybe 10 or $15,000 in equity right now,
Yeah.
and then that builds over the years and everything. So that's some of the top things that I want to do, in addition to some of the more pedestrian things like improved reform Baltimore's government. I think it is too bloated right now. Baltimore is about a half a million population city, and its administrative structure is almost as if it's a 700,000 or 800,000 people place, but it's
Mhm.
not. That needs to be pared down. And what I would do is, with some of those savings, I would provide entry level jobs for some of the young men and women who are currently unemployed, to help
Mm-hmm.
them get
Yeah.
on their feet. Come up with some entry level type jobs that's maybe related to the city government, because I don't like to see. I'm gonna be honest about it. I don't like to see people poor that don't have to be poor, and that's where you see a lot of that
Yes.
involved. At least, you know. So that's basically what I want to do. In addition to bringing, I think, and you may, I don't know if you will concede this, but Baltimore also has a very it's quite corrupt. It's
Mm-hmm.
corrupt. I don't know. Have you observed that, or what? That it's sort of.
Oh
Yeah.
yes.
We know about it.
You know,
Mm. I'm
but
having
see,
technical difficulties on my phone.
okay. Well, I
It
can
keeps
hear you
going
fine.
out.
I can
Anyway.
hear you well. But see, uh, I've had people that say, they call me Mr. Don. They say, Mr. Don, you're relatively older person. I'm a relatively older person, so I don't really have much to fear in terms of the establishment or people who are calling the shots and everything. And you probably need someone who doesn't have anything to worry about, so to speak, to get involved in these things. So that's
Mhm.
another reason why I want to do it.
Mhm.
So,
Okay. All right, but I have
Mhm.
another question in
okay,
regards to
sure,
um, veterans.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
because I'm a veterans, and that's kind of where my heart is, and especially for veterans that are out on the streets.
I'm a veteran too.
All right now.
Okay.
You didn't know I'm a Vietnam veteran. I'm a
All
Vietnam
right
veteran.
now. So,
Hmm.
okay, so you should uh hear what
Let
I'm
me,
saying,
sure, yeah.
because I was homeless at one point. So I went to one of these programs that was supposed to help veterans.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing they did was take my DD 214, my information, and literally just, I'm just gonna say it as it is. I believe they got the money for themselves, and I didn't get help.
Oh boy.
I did not.
Wow.
So these
There's
are
a
programs that are taking from veterans instead of helping them.
right.
So how
Well,
would you kind of bridge that gap
mhm.
for veterans?
Well, I know quite a few veterans in Baltimore, and
Okay.
I talked to some at one time. I don't know if you know this or not, but at one time they had an Office of Veterans Affairs.
Mm-hmm.
But I understand the
Yeah.
mayor cut that out. He cut that out.
Mm.
So I would bring that back, and I would also be more involved with the veteran organizations like the American Legion, the Veterans of Foreign Wars,
Right.
other organizations. Now I don't know. Are you familiar with MedVet, Maryland?
No, that
Maryland
one's not
Veterans
familiar to me.
Center, huh?
That one's not familiar to me.
Okay,
No.
I'm going to text you. Let's see, I have Tisha's information.
Yeah.
I'm going to text you that organization.
Okay.
Okay.
And I've spoken to the group several times. They have short-term housing available in their building. They're downtown and they're in a former warehouse.
Oh, really?
And they have two floors. One floor is for more permanent type housing, and then
Mm-hmm.
another floor is for short-term housing, and they can accommodate males and females. That's a
Mm-hmm.
nice organization to know about.
Okay.
So I'm going to be very big on the veterans. Matter of fact, in Virginia, I was the past commander of my American Legion post,
All
and
right.
we
Mm.
when I became the command, it was founded in 1947. And when I became the commander, uh, I told them I was going to quit unless we did something about this post because it needed a
Mhm.
whole bunch of work and it was falling down and all that stuff.
Right.
But I didn't know where we were going to get at least $500,000 to fix it up. So since housing is my background, what I propose, and we're working on it now, is that we have 1 acre that includes the post home and a rental property next door. So what
Mm-hmm.
we're going to do is
Mm.
demolish those two structures and build 6 duplexes and a post home. And we're joint venturing with a nonprofit housing developer. And these are things that can be done in Baltimore. They got so much, they can demolish some of those properties there and build
Okay.
veterans housing and make it.
Yeah.
And because I've talked to post 19. Are you familiar with post 19 on
Is that Park Heights?
not that one. It's one that's
Okay.
on Madison Street. Madison Street. No, it's
Yeah.
on
Is it what?
Division Avenue. Over there, not too far from Win Sandtown, Winchester area.
Mm.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yes.
on a corner. But I've talked to them about it, and I was saying that maybe the veterans groups, all of them in the city, can come together as a joint venture and put
Right.
up something, and maybe
Okay.
build a 50 room or 50, something like that for veterans, because that would really be a great help.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mhm.
I like that. I like that.
In
So
in addition
an
to
advantage.
in addition to being very robust in terms of letting veterans, I'm sure they know about the VA where you can use your VA benefits to purchase a house. So we would
Mm-hmm.
help them do that also.
Okay.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I had a question,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Donald Scoggins. Because I can't see
Raise
Bobby. I'm
your hand.
sorry. Okay, can you see my head? I'm sorry.
No, go,
Yes,
girl,
I
go.
have. Mr. Donald Scoggins, what are some ways you plan to change and improve the homelessness in Baltimore City?
Well, number one, okay, you all probably know Miss Flowers, right? You know her?
Yes.
You know her?
Yes,
Absolutely.
we do.
You know her? Okay. I tell you what I really think needs to be done, and I don't know, it may be good to get some input from some folks, but I would like to come up with a registry
Mm-hmm.
of people that are homeless. If they can just sign up someplace and we get sort of a handle on how many people are
Mm.
homeless and try to work with them, and then hopefully we can put a pin in it so that let's say, for an example, I'm just using as an example. Let's say there are 500 homeless people as an example.
Mhm.
Okay, we would try to deal with those 500. But what I'm afraid will happen is that, and I've seen it in other cities, the more effective you are in terms of providing the service, you attract other folks. You know what I mean? You'll sort of,
Yes.
you know, so if you do such a good job, then people will come out of the woodwork, and next thing you have so many. So rather than to appear to be heartless or too harsh, I think we do need to get a handle on it and just say, okay, we can help 500 or maybe 700, that type, but we can't. I mean,
Yes.
unfortunately, you can't just open the doors up and say everybody come, because you never will get solve the problem. But because some of the homeless people, because I've talked to them, some of them are they're homeless, but they're still working. They're employed and everything, but the rent
Yes.
may not. Let's say, for an example, they have they're gainfully employed, but they maybe only be able to afford maybe $200 or $300 a month rent or something like that. So they can't find anything for less than maybe $500 or $600. So uh, some people in that category, I think if we can find some long-term temporary housing, maybe they can stay up to a year or something, and they
Mhm.
can get on
Yes.
their feet so that they are not out in the street. And while they're housed for a year, we can be trying to find something for them, maybe get some special vouchers for them or something like that.
Mm.
Yes.
Mhm.
Mm,
Mhm. I like that thought because I remember when I came to Baltimore, I didn't have anywhere to live,
mm,
and I ooh, I was searching all over trying to find somewhere. Come on, because
mm.
you can't stay in a hotel paying that
For
much.
so,
That's right.
ooh, not for so long.
Yeah, you need somewhere else that's that's like you said,
Hmm.
assist you for a while until you get on your feet.
Hmm.
Yes.
Well,
I like that. I like
you
that though. I like
and
that plan, that thought.
years ago they had these youth hostels. Have you heard of the youth hostels?
No.
What year was that?
Oh, that was a long time. They may still
Uh,
have in some of the major cities like New York
okay.
and places like that, but it was almost like, let's say young people are coming to visit, or they're working
Hmm.
on an internship or something. They
Mm,
have,
Okay.
they're almost like hotels, but they're not, was it 5-star hotels, but it was just a temporary place where it may even be a place where two people can stay together. I mean, two, what is it? Platonic. I mean, not necessarily any relationship, but I
like
mean,
a
two
Yeah.
young
share.
people, like a bunk, almost like a dormitory where you have bunks and everything, where you can.
Okay.
I mean, I know it has to be regulated to make sure that everything goes all right, but I'm just talking about if someone just needs a place where they can go to a bathroom, take a shower, and at least lay their head at night. It doesn't have to be anything real fancy. I think we need to just come up with some places like that too.
Mhm.
Yes, indeed. I
Hmm.
think that's a good plan. Yes.
Hmm.
It's
Absolutely.
needed. Oh, go ahead, Barbie.
M- My next question was in regards to um the elderly medical
Senior
assistance,
citizens.
and even the where they're talking about affordable housing
Yeah.
for the elderly.
Yeah.
That is
You're on the mute. You're on mute. She's on mute.
Barbie. Yeah, she on mute. She can't hear me. Barbie. Her
She's
signal
having,
stopped.
she's having to. She was
Hmm.
asking about the something for the elderly, I think.
Yes,
Oh.
you can answer the question.
She wanted to know, I guess, about housing for the elderly people.
Yes, you want to answer it?
come on.
Okay. With
Okay. Yeah, there she go.
okay.
Barbie, can you
Yeah,
answer the question again? Because it stopped for a minute.
I saw it. The enemy just don't want this information out there. But he's a liar. It's going anyway. I was asking the question. I started on something else, but the housing supposed to be affordable housing for the elderly, but they
Hmm.
jack up the price so high beyond their budget. Come on,
Hmm.
that's not affordable. I mean, how what would you do to kind of revamp that or
Well,
anything like that?
Yes.
okay. Is this part of the Baltimore Housing Authority housing, or is this private housing, privately owned,
It, it you know
because
what? It's kind of like both.
Yes.
because I know many places they have it so that their income based, so that and they can't jack up your rent just like that. Like if you in some places you can't make over a certain income
Mm-hmm.
to
Yes.
get these places, and it can't be more than 30% of their take home pay. So we need to look into that. What you're describing
Yeah.
sounds like private landlord type properties.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But what I would do also, and I put like this, I probably need to live 20 or 50 more years to do everything.
Lord bless him to live 20 and 50 more years,
Yeah,
God.
right.
Yes.
But what I want to say is that when I look at some of these houses, like even the public housing, I would like to build maybe some of the seniors who are in these public housing complexes. Let's say like I would say those like Gilmore, the houses,
Yeah.
and then those up on some of the other public housing complexes. You may have elderly people living in those places, and if we can build sort of like a new complex. Are you familiar with the Sandtown senior
Yeah.
housing?
Yeah.
Yes, we are.
Yes, build several things like that and put elderly folks there, and then that can free up maybe where they're living now in some of the places, because they probably, they what are they, 2 bedrooms? I'm gonna have to go in and visit some of them sometime, but I think that you can move uh, relocate some of the people and put them in something that's more suitable
Yes.
for them, where they have elevators and things like that. But I'll tell you another idea, and I was reading where I think out west someplace they have it so that you can have a housing fund every
Mm,
year. That's
Okay.
part of the budget. It's part of the city's budget, whereby they allocate certain money into this fund, and they can use that money to help subsidize. It's almost like it's not almost like a Section 8 or a voucher program, whereby you can help them pay their rent, but it's done locally. It's not part of the
mm,
federal government, and that's one thing that bothers me about so many boarded up and abandoned properties, is that if those properties can be put back on the market, you can use the savings from those, or if you, let's say for an example, tax held property that the city has already acquired uh, through delinquent taxes. Those properties can be put back on the market, and the monies you get from them can be put into a fund to help finance people's rent, especially the elderly
Yeah.
and those that are very low income. But it's too much dead, what I would call dead equity around this, just sitting. You know what
yes.
I mean? All that
Yeah.
sitting, but that represents money that could be coming in. See what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And then when you have some of these warehouses, that can, because their city, there's a lot of those that are delinquent too. They may not be as known as the houses, but you have a lot of commercial property like warehouses down off of, was it Russell Street in
Mm,
Pulaski. You see some of these warehouses just sitting abandoned and all. They can be turned into something.
right. Absolutely.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
And
Barbie. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
no, I was going to say another thing I would do, depending on who becomes president uh, in November. I don't care whether it's Republican or Democrat. I'm going to make an appointment to go meet the president and ask him. I want them to make a special allocation to Baltimore to do some of these things, because you
Mm,
can't. It's almost like you can't do it out of your annual budget. We need
Mm.
a special
right.
allocation.
Absolutely.
It's almost like a
Yeah.
special. See what I mean? Maybe 5 or 6 billion. It's almost just like that bridge and everything. The
Mm-hmm.
bridge that the federal government have to intervene some way and do some of these things. And so
Mm,
that's one of the things I have an idea to do.
wow.
I had one more question. I'm sorry. I just had one more. When you were talking about their housing, I just want to. This is an experience I had because Barbie had her experience, and I did too. When my mom had first passed away, I was really going through a lot of troubles, and I signed up for rental assistance, and I never received one penny.
Mm.
And how would you help like single? It's like it seems sometimes like people with children they get more help before people that's single. How would you put that in place to make
Well,
sure that the funds are distributed the right way?
okay, you said you put in an application. Were you approved or you never were approved or what? What
No
happened?
one ever. They never
Kind-
sent me a letter. I never heard anything at all. I actually, God bless me with an apartment. I never did receive anything. No confirmation of anything.
That reminds me of a young lady I met a couple of days ago, and she
Mm.
was putting in for apartments and everything, and she said that she didn't have the $40 for the application fee.
Yes.
And I'm saying a lot of people are in that situation, and I think that if they're applying for housing, especially if it's going to be subsidized, I think it's some way that they can waive that application fee.
Yes, a
Yes.
lot.
Yes.
Because if you go to 3 or 4 places and put in $40 each, that's a hundred and what, hundred and that's 90 to $120. That's something that you
Yes.
can use for something else. So, but to answer your question, that is one of the things that I understand that the city does not do enough of is that's follow up.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Now, did you try? You said they didn't send you a letter. Did you follow up with them? Because that's something that
Oh yes, I'm very. I called and everything. They was like, "Oh, you're gonna receive a letter in the mail." I never received anything.
They hurry up and push you off the phone. That's what they do.
Yeah, and call this number, and I called that number too.
Yeah.
How
Mm-hmm.
long ago was that? About approximately
Well, it's almost 2 years now. Almost 2 years.
recent. I call that recent. Yeah.
Yes.
Well, you know what? I'm the kind of person. Not that everyone is like this, but I'm the kind of person that after I make a couple of calls and people don't call me back, I do what they call a visit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And if somebody's out of their office that makes the decision, that person's out of their office. I ask them when they coming back.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
And then if they got a chair, if there's a desk chair outside of the waiting room or whatever, I'll just help myself to the chair, and sit and wait for them. So sometimes you shouldn't have to do that, but I would like to
Yes.
have it so that people, because I was involved in housing I worked for the district government, Department of Housing Community Development, and I remember there's this one little story I got to tell you, and I got into trouble behind it because I was helping I was working this program but we were helping people get low interest rate loans to bring their houses up to code standards.
Mm.
And this
Okay.
one elderly couple, they went around about 3 or 4 different offices, and every office they went to, they said that wasn't the right office, and they told them where to go. And when they came to my office, like it was 4:30 or quarter to 5, and people were putting on their hat or getting ready to go and all like that. And I saw this couple, you could look like they were kind of somewhat exhausted. So I
Right.
told them, I said, well, our office happened, the last office for the day that they went to was the right office.
All
So
right.
I told them, I
Yes.
said, well, I'll take your application and fill it out so you won't have to come back. Even though we're getting ready to close, I will fill everything out for you. And if I need any information, I'll give you a call. But I wanted them to be there so they can sign whatever they had to sign, and then they could leave. The next day, wouldn't you know, my supervisor got on me for staying over. For staying over the time because we quitting time was like 5 o'clock, and
Yeah.
they got mad because I stayed. That told me right there that government work wasn't really too much for me, because I don't like, if something needs to be done, I like to get it done.
Yes.
Mm. But yeah, so that's how I would handle that.
Okay.
I mean, I would follow up. Like if someone said that you would be getting a letter, evidently they had it some kind of log with your name and address and everything on it. So there should
Yes.
be a little box next to it where they can check and see if they sent it out and give you a couple of days to and call up, because I love the chat, So if someone, if I sent you a letter, I'll call you up and say, well, I sent you a letter, so and so and so and so. Look out for it. That's something. It don't have to be a long conversation. Just do that.
Yeah.
At least put you on notice that the letter was sent out. See what I mean? That's very simple. And even now with emails and stuff, you can just send someone a quick email and tell them that we
Yeah. I'm gonna call back. I'm gonna call back on Monday.
yeah. If you don't get an answer or anything, let me know. I don't mind being nosy and go someplace and ask them.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh my God. Mr. Scoggins, our time is at an end. Oh, I know there are a lot of questions that our audience wants to ask.
Well, I don't mind.
But,
I don't mind coming back. I know you have a certain time period on the Steam Yard. They give you a certain time period, but I can call back. Do you all ever have like meetings someplace where you have a little get together and you talk or something like that?
when do we have time? We are booked. Our hair is in the wind.
Roller skates, jet skis. But Mr. Donald Scoggins, we're going to bring you on again before November.
Yes,
Right, I hope
absolutely.
so. If you know any, I'm a Republican, right?
Yeah, we know.
Yeah.
So I'm a maverick Republican. I'm not a devil with horns and everything.
Uh-oh.
I know what they.
You said it. We didn't. Let me see.
I know well, the media doesn't want people to know about people like me because they're afraid I'm going to be a whistleblower, which they're probably correct. So.
But can I say something real quick?
Yeah.
And I need to say this. I've been a Democrat for years, but when Ehrlich was running, I'm so sorry, I went over to the other side.
Oh, you were sorry? Are you
Yeah.
sorry for that?
No, I am not. 'Cause I actually loved him because during that time I needed some health insurance, and I had it for 4 years. Thank you, Ehrlich.
You did do some pretty good stuff for Baltimore. I have to give it
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'll help too. You just let me know what needs to be dealt with, and
Yes.
one of the biggest problems, and I'll let you go. One of the biggest problems I see in general is service delivery. I think too many people have these jobs, and it's just a job. They don't look at it as a mission to really help people. You see what I mean? They just can't be collecting a check. They gotta follow up and make sure that people are getting helped. So.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I love this interview, Barbie.
I enjoy talking to you too, and it's nice and formal and everything. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Gosh.
Right.
Mrs. Scoggins, it was a pleasure to have you on a podcast.
Now, is this on YouTube or what? How do you do this?
It'll be on YouTube, Facebook. What's the other one?
TikTok or something.
Sometimes most of the time we put pictures on TikTok and Instagram, but it will be on YouTube and Facebook.
Okay, you'll let me know so I can post it on my Facebook.
Oh, sure.
We'll send you the link.
You'll send me the link. Okay, that's good.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I really enjoy this. This is the kind of thing I like to do, informal. I don't necessarily like to what they call have a debate, because I don't argue with people. I'm at that point in life where I don't like, if I ever had to have a debate with Brandon Scott or Sheila Dixon, I'm going to tell them I'm not going to debate you. We'll have a conversation.
Yes.
Right then. Now, for all of our listeners who are listening, Mr. Scoggins, where can they reach you?
Okay, my phone. I'll give you my phone number. I'll give you my website is. My website is www.scogginsformayor.com, and my email is info@scogginsformayor.com, and my phone number is 443-993-2090.
Amazing. Can't wait for the election.
Thank you for sharing all that information and what your plans are when you are mayor.
Yes.
Okay. I'm Barbie Johnson. Oh, hold up. Our motto is we encourage you to follow your dreams.
Keep dreaming.
I'm Barbie Johnson.
That's what
And
I'm.
I am Tisha Winkler.
That's what I'm doing. I may be dreaming. You know.
You're dreaming too?
Mr. Donald Scoggins running
For
for mayor.
mayor. Woo!
Join us next time.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Donald Scoggins.
Thank you. Okay.
See you next time.
Okay.
Bye, Barbie.
I didn't. Oh, hold up. Did I end it?
It's still live.
End.